Growing up, many of my favorite books to read as a child were Dr. Seuss books, whether it was a silly rhyming or the moral of a tale. As a child, there was a connection of understanding. Now, Dr. Seuss said something in one of his books that really caught my attention, and I quote, "Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing's going to get better. It's not." Hi, my name is Jeanette Castro, and today I'll be talking about the importance of autism. Now, you're probably thinking, why do I care about autism? Well, it's good information to have just because we have many people in society who have autism. Also, you should listen to my speeches. You should listen to my speech because I'll be talking about how to interact with someone who has autism. So, by listening to the speech, you'll have a better understanding of what autism is, how to interact with people who have autism, and why it's important to me. So, first, I'll be talking about what autism is. Second, how to interact with people who have autism, and lastly, why it's important to me. So let's talk about autism. What is autism, right? According to Autism Speaks, which is an organization that helps people and families who have autism or autism spectrum disorder, also known as ASD, is a broad range of conditions challenged by characteristics of social skills, nonverbal communication, speech, and repetitive behavior. And saying that autism spectrum really differentiates. Just because one person might have autism doesn't mean they have the same symptoms as the next person. They're very different. So their weaknesses and strengths are very different. No one is the same. Some might have it really high, some might have it really low. So it honestly just depends. According to Autism Society, which is another organization that helps people with autism, there is no cure for autism. There is no known cause for autism either. 1 in 59 kids who are born in the US have autism. So there's nothing much we can do but to deal with what we have. Now, how do we act or how do we interact with people who have autism? Well, we treat them like normal people, right? Or we don't. Actually, according to US News and Report, a reporter named Angela Hobbs actually did an article on how to be a friend with someone who has autism. And she names a couple of factors to help you interact with that person. 1, have lots of patience, okay? Sometimes when you're dealing with someone who has autism, they don't know how to communicate what they want sometimes. So sometimes verbally they don't understand or they can't verbally vocalize what they want to tell you. So sometimes they'll physically point out what they want. Okay? 2, when you're speaking to someone who has autism, or I mean, to me, I think anyone, look them in the eye. When you have an interaction, when you're talking to someone like eye to eye, you feel like they're listening to you. Also, when you're talking to someone who has autism, speak in a really good pace and vocalize your vocals. So don't speak too loud, but at a pace and volume that they understand you. And a big important one is don't treat them like they're a project. Don't treat them like they're a baby. Do not baby talk to them. They're not a baby. They are human beings just like you and I. And that is a big one. And you're probably thinking, okay, well, how do I know if I'm talking to someone who has autism, right? Well, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not telling you to diagnose, but some of the signs that I mentioned earlier, you might see or you might not. So if you're not sure, honestly, just talk to them like a human being, like you would to anybody, right? Now, why is this so important to me? This matter is so important to me because my younger brother is autistic, right? He is 9 and he is in the 3rd grade and he reads at a 5th grade level. So this kid is one of the smartest kids I know. But when it comes to socializing and trying new things, he has difficulty doing that. We have to push him a little more and he has some repetitive behavior. If we change something, he kind of does not like it. The norm, he loves, right? Anything out of the norm, he doesn't like. So that's why it's such a big deal. And as an advocate for someone who has autism or someone who actually knows someone who has autism, like my brother, or anyone who has autism, you want to be an advocate and make sure they have a voice, and I want to be their voice. So I am the big sister and I want to be that voice for my brother. So we talked about what autism is, how to interact with people who have autism, and why it's important to me. So by listening to the speech, I hope you have a better understanding of what autism is and how to interact with people who have autism and why it's so important to me. I hope you guys stay safe and have a great day.